These 2 cups of cooked tapioca powder is in the form of a dense, sticky puree which contains a lot of carbohydrates. Let's look at some of the starchy foods. Take 1 sachet of Ikyu Enzyme, add a little bit into 1 glass, stir briskly, After a few seconds, you can see that the starch puree has completely dissolved or broken down into aqueous carbohydrate solutions. Iodine is used to determine if the starch is completely dissolved. Add it into both glasses. The content in the glass without Ikyu enzyme changed to a deep blue color, indicating that there is still plenty of starch. Whereas the content in the glass with Ikyu enzyme, there is no color change. This shows that the carbohydrate has been completely dissolved. This is how the starch looks like before and after it is broken down by Ikyu enzyme. There are 2 raw eggs here. We're going to stir the eggs. Fats make up of 90% of an egg yolk, while the egg white is one of the most indigestible proteins. Egg white is classified as high protein food, while egg yolk is known to have high fat content. Let's look at some of the high protein and high fat foods. This type of food may have an appealing taste, but overconsumption may lead to obesity and high cholesterol level. Add a spoonful of Ikyu enzyme into one of the glasses. Stir well once again. Now the egg white and the egg yolk has been broken down by Ikyu enzyme into liquid and become less sticky. Whereas the undissolved raw egg remains tacky. Normal enzymes becomes inactive under high temperature. Put both the dissolved and undissolved raw eggs into a microwave oven. Cook at 120 degrees Celsius for 1 minute. The raw egg without Ikyu enzyme is now completely cooked. Cooked eggs are very difficult to get digested. The raw egg with added Ikyu enzyme remains mushy after being cooked. This indicates that Ikyu enzyme still managed to show its beneficial effects due to its high activity level. Get 2 hard-boiled eggs to test the activity level of Ikyu enzyme once again. First of all, mash the egg yolks. Now add 1 sachet of Ikyu enzyme into one bowl. Stir well. After a few seconds, the boiled egg yolk is dissolved. This demo indicates that Ikyu enzyme has higher activity levels than normal enzymes, because enzymes with lower levels of activity are unable to dissolve boiled egg yolks. These are 2 pieces of coagulated chicken blood. We're going to add in Ikyu enzyme. Stir briskly so that Ikyu enzyme blends well into the coagulated chicken blood. After a few seconds, the coagulated chicken blood has dissolved into liquid. These 2 bowls are filled with blanched chicken blood cubes. Crush the chicken blood cubes into small pieces. The blanched chicken blood cubes can be compared to blood clots in our vessels, which are also known as thrombus. Thrombosis may lead to heart attack, coronary heart disease, hypertension, and stroke. Now pour 1 sachet of Ikyu enzyme into 1 bowl of crushed chicken blood. Stir well. You can see that the blanched chicken blood cubes gradually dissolves. "20 minutes later, the blanched chicken blood cubes are almost completely dissolved. For those who suffer from clogged blood vessels, high cholesterol level, or mild stroke, after drinking Ikyu enzyme for about 20 minutes, part of the thrombus or blood clots begin to dissolve. As blood circulation becomes smoother, the patient may feel slightly dizzy, which is a normal reaction and a good sign. Pour an equal amount of clear water into 2 glasses. Add the same amount of cooking oil into 1 glass. You can see that the bigger fat molecules are floating on the surface. Add 1 sachet of Ikyu enzyme into the other glass. Stir well. The bigger fat molecules have mostly dissolved into smaller fat molecules. Ikyu enzyme helps to reduce body weight effectively by dissolving the fat molecules. This is great news for those of you who wish to slim down. But remember, you must consume it 1 hour before meal. If you drink it during the meal, you're likely to gain weight.